and then I'll tell you the rest. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, the board will move to enter into a non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2A, personnel. I entertain a motion of to that effect.
Second that motion.
So moved.
Who moved it?
So moved.
Keith. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Non-public requires a roll call.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay.
Jeff North.
Yes.
Aye. Yes.
Okay.
Keith? Yes. Jim, yes. Jeff, yes.
And Barry Connell votes yes, so it's 5-0. Okay? And I'd like Paul to be in attendance at that meeting.
So go over to Salt Hill and meet there.
We could do that, Jeff. We may not ever come back. Yeah. You can put that on his desk.
At ease and check and see if that smoke up there across the hill. Is it the windows?
We had voted to come out of non-public upstairs, and so we will continue with the meeting. I would... You okay, Paul?
I'm fine, Mr. Chair.
You're a little low there, buddy.
Yeah.
We, at our meeting upstairs, we did vote to accept Hunter Reesberg's resignation as of the January 1st date. We have also entered into a separation from employment agreement with Mr. Reesberg, which in effect he is being separated from employment as of today. So that is all complete. Jim, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, certainly we thank Mr. Reesberg for his time and energy that he gave Newport. Certainly the recipient of better than fair share number of grants and award opportunities that this community has received due to his hard work and diligence. So we thank him for that and his service to Newport. And it is with regret that we accept this and start moving on. We will be starting the search process right off. We'll talk about that. But I think as a point of order, we need to make a motion to appoint a new town manager, interim town manager, and I'd make a motion to appoint Paul Brown as interim town manager.
Your second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh. And we don't enter into that lightly. We know Paul has a full-time job as finance director, and so he's stepping in for a period of time. But to that end, the board is determined to move very quickly on attempting to find a new town manager for the town of Newport. So tonight I am calling on anyone interested in serving on the committee to begin the process of finding a new town manager to please come forth, call Paul Brown, and so we can begin the process of setting up a committee, and that committee will meet and we will set out a timeline to end up with a new town manager.
Appointing that committee next meeting?
Next meeting, the committee will be appointed. Yes, thank
You
you.
want to
That's
explain
three at
the
large.
makeup of the committee so
Yeah.
people understand?
Paul, can you tell me the makeup of the committee?
I can. So the recommended makeup would be 2 selectmen, the interim town manager, 1 department head, 1 employee below the supervisor level, 1 member of the Chamber of Commerce, and 3 at-large citizens.
Okay.
You need to decide for the department head and the employee, do you want them to be residents or not?
What's the pleasure of the board?
Ideally resident.
Ideally resident.
I
is
would
what
say
think.
residents, for all members, if we
Yeah.
can do it.
So there's plenty of work for us ahead. I do want to make the following statement. Town is not going to fall apart. We're going to continue to work on the projects, which are many, to completion. We intend as a board and as the interim town manager to bring forth an open communication process, a listening process to the town. But ultimately, we have to make some tough decisions as the board members. So this is a pretty tight board. We communicate well together. We talk one-on-one together because we're not allowed to talk any more than that. So I feel we've got a strong group here, hopefully have the support of the town to move forward with the projects we need to move forward with. Okay. Yes, Paul?
Just one statement for people. You just put out the invitation for people to be involved with the committee. People should just know that it's currently the schedule is very fast tracked.
Right.
and it's going to be a very busy July, August, and September.
Yep.
Probably quite a few meetings. Somebody will have to decide daytime or nighttime, but some will need to be daytime just if you're doing interviews. So yeah, I think you need people to really think about whether they'll be able to meet that time schedule.
So, Paul, in order to make this official, Lisa, can you come up and deliver his oath of office?
You also need to do tax collector.
Mr. Chairman, do you know if the Zoom link is active?
It is not. We're having a problem. Sorry, I was going to announce that. Everybody started.
This is your third time. You know it by heart now, or?
I don't remember a word. I, Paul Brown.
It's kind of a blur. Raise your right hand.
He did.
Figure it out first.
Just check.
Figure it out.
Okay. So repeat after me.
We should all stand, please. Thank you.
Then you don't stand out as much.
Shall we all speak to the oath as Paul does?
I, Paul Brown,
I, Paul Brown,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will bear faith
that I will bear faith
and true allegiance
and true
to
allegiance
the United States of America
to the United States of
and
America
the state of New
and
Hampshire,
the state of New
and will
Hampshire,
support the
and will
constitutions
support the constitutions
thereof.
thereof.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Paul Brown,
I, Paul Brown,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
and affirm
and affirm
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties
all duties
incumbent on you,
incumbent on me
sorry, as interim town manager
as interim town manager
and tax collector,
and tax collector,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules
agreeably to the rules
and regulations
and regulations
of the Constitution
of the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the state of New
of
Hampshire.
the state of New Hampshire. So help me God.
All right, you said it. Right there.
Thank you, Lisa.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say this is a case of never say never.
Actually, Barry, as the
You said never
chair
before.
of the select board, you're going to sign there as the appointing body. Perfect.
Here we go.
Do you need a copy of this, or is it?
Okay.
Is there a moment here
A
for a
moment.
question?
Move on.
Can you wait until open forum, or?
Well, it's on this issue. I would make a request at this point for all the information in the severance package.
Okay.
Emphasis on all.
Mhm.
Okay? And that is a 91A.
91A.
request and a statutory request to boot.
Can you, what do you mean by that?
The
Statutory.
state of New Hampshire now has codified
91A.
what you have to do.
Yeah, yep. You will get it.
Okay. So, thank you. And I would put my name in for one of those three citizens.
All right, let's see. Agenda review. Anything from the board?
If we had enough tonight?
I'd like to add something, probably action item. We need to make a decision on whether to go ahead with the community center shop drawings. To have those produced if we're going ahead with the community center. That's about an $80-some thousand
Yeah.
cost.
Thank you, Jeff.
And we need to decide whether we're moving ahead or not on that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Paul.
I was just going to say, could you put that off to next week's meeting?
Yes,
I'd like to make a phone call.
Okay.
thank you. All right, let's see. Minutes from previous meeting, June 19th, 2023.
Move to accept.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It's 5-0, unanimous. Consent agenda on the back of your agenda. Take a motion to accept.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. All right, informational. A good old dog licensing.
Okay, so picking up from the last meeting, I was asked to redo the warrant. So the warrant
is, since I'm since I'm an elected employee or an elected official and working
Yeah, for the town.
in a full-time position, it was easier for me to figure out what other towns use. I did go back and it should be all in your packets. I did rework the warrant if you decide to use this. I did add the town ordinance in here along with the RSA, and I did change the wording so that it says this serves as a general proceeding to facilitate the administrative process for civil forfeiture for unlicensed dogs on behalf of the town of Newport, and then there's further information. So I'm just doing my part, and then it goes,
Okay.
you guys decide what to do with that. So the list,
So you've included both the RSA and the town ordinance 18, which Jim had requested.
requested.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll take a motion to,
Action item. Make a motion that we acknowledge the notification of unregistered dogs in accordance with RSA 466 and Town Ordinance 18:6.
Okay.
And say we make a change that under the line that says given under our hands and sealed this third day, make that the 10th day.
Oh,
It does say 10th day.
I
Here.
changed.
Okay.
You have-
He's got it here.
you have
Okay.
okay?
All right?
All right. All those in favor? Oh, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
5-0. Thank you. And you want us to sign this?
And do you want me to take that back and continue on, or do you want to pass that along?
What do you mean?
I'm assuming that it's going to...
Can you take care of that for us?
I certainly can.
Thank you. Okay, next informational item, Main Street, I almost said stripping, but we don't want that to death.
Rotate the grinding
Yeah.
at the surface.
Main Street striping, I would ask Jeff North to give us an update.
Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to speak with Hunter about this prior to today. I did, however, this morning reach out to Mr. Graham Mason, who's in charge of the project, and he is on vacation, so that didn't really go anywhere today. However, he'll be back next Monday. I also just happened to run into, well, I didn't run into him, but I had to stop as they were painting the crosswalks down by near the high school that way, and there was a gentleman there, industrial traffic lines, who was striping, so I spoke to him for a while about striping, his availability for striping, his qualifications. Obviously, we've already using him in town, and the approximate cost to do striping, and the difference between using regular paint as opposed to what he calls his card here, thermoplastic pavement markings, which is when you see that thicker paint that goes down, and he says it lasts 7 to 9 years approximately, so you don't have that constant wearing out of striping, and he said that would be highly recommended by him for the small amount of extra money, approximately using the thermoplastic, about $20 per space. So with, in the vicinity of 120 spaces, plus some cross-hatching, etc., he said easily below $5,000. Seemed reasonable to me, and his availability is good. He prefers to be notified of the project. I'm not officially on that project, and with your permission as interim town manager, that if I could work with you on that, and if you would, as a board, vote me to be able to be in touch with him.
Excellent job, but it's not to be taken that we've given him the job.
Right.
We still need to bid the
Purchase
job.
policy.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? Thank you, Jeff.
That
And
works out.
I guess I would say this. There's been some discussion that the select board dropped the ball on this. We didn't. We're still moving ahead with it, and this will get done. We're not going to have a town that has black tar and no striping. It will get done. Okay?
Action items. Airport ARPA rescue grant. Accept and authorize town manager to sign interim town manager to sign all related documents. Paul, you want to talk a bit about that?
This was the last ARPA grant that we were eligible for the airport. So we have applied, we are ready to go. We just need your authorization to move forward and sign it.
Okay. Looking for a motion?
I'll make the motion that we authorize the interim town manager to sign all related documents related to the airport ARPA rescue grant.
Second. Jim seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Notice we can't text while driving on the airport.
Yeah.
Saw that.
Accept State of New Hampshire Office of Highway Safety grant and authorize the interim town manager to sign all related documents. Would you talk to us about that, gentlemen?
There's the various police grants for highway safety. We commonly accept them every year, and I'd like to do so again.
Do I hear a motion?
So we accept
Second that.
and authorize the town manager to sign all documents.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay.
Historically, these grants have served the town very well for
Years.
years.
Thank you.
See
Enter
that?
and
I was gonna say, I see that sign up there by Rivers with a little speed limit thing on it.
Yeah.
They're good.
enter into ARPA and DWGTF grant agreement with the state of New Hampshire DES and authorize the interim town manager to sign all related documents.
Can you explain what those?
I was going to have him do that.
No, okay.
So
I think he wants to know what the things stand for.
ARPA.
ARPA, the American Rescue Group.
Plan Association.
No. Yeah, it's something. Hold on, I can find it if you want me to. And then the Drinking Water Groundwater Trust Fund, which is the state money from the Volkswagen settlement.
Thank you. Okay.
And ARPA is the federal program that we've received all the funds on. This, you have previously authorized the DW, the Drinking Water Groundwater Grant, but it didn't include ARPA, so they want a new form that has them both on there.
ARPA?
ARPA.
ARPA. Okay.
And this is for the North Newport line.
Okay. Good. Good. Which must be fairly full right now. Yeah.
Groundwater.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to have the interim town manager sign all grant agreements between ARPA and the DWGTF grant between us and the state of New Hampshire DES.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Includes the action items. Open forum. A chance for the public to talk about anything that hasn't been talked about so far. So, he put his hand up. Go ahead, Mr. Carr. Yeah.
I'm sorry about the last time. I was very
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
appreciate your patience for that. I apologize. Ed Carr, and I'm sitting down here, but I'll mention two issues and I'll let you go. Very, very active about the dog licensing thing, and I think that's so noble. I'm mixed emotions about it when I see bicycles that don't have to be licensed, and you went through a whole lot of detail of the dogs, and people that run around with some bicycles, and we have to obey that, and I'm good with that. But the thing that bothers me with the dog issues is the lack of enforcement for the waste that they create. And I don't blame the dog. I mean, the dog eats, you gotta do what you and I have to do. And I won't say what in this meeting, but there are regulations, and Claremont actually most recently did one that said if you're caught walking a dog without a baggie, then that dog can be destroyed or whatever it may be, taken away from you. I think we need to get, I brought this up a few years ago when I used to be at the hockey rink, and I used to try to clean the hockey rink up and have to wallow through those items. And I really wish that you look into to something to that effect that would be more enforceable. I love the fact that people walk their dogs. It's great for old people like me to get the exercise, but I mow the lawn, I have to walk in it. It's only fair that for the community that they carry a baggie, clean their mess up. So I think there are some stronger laws that could be put out there like they did and not only just made, by the way, enforced. We got an issue with enforcement around here on laws too. That's another time. I won't do that tonight. So look into, if you would look into that. I just brought it up because of this situation.
Paul, can you put that on our to-do list? Thank you.
And I'm not opposed to dogs. I like dogs, but never mind, I'll get into that. The other thing I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure it's going to be brought up, is look, you made a decision in here to actually terminate the position of the town manager, I take it, as opposed to allowing him to retire. And I'd like to hear some rhetoric of this, but what is the difference in pay? Are we now forced into a severance pay that's going to force us into some big dough? And I'd like to hear more about that. Could you not have said, I don't know, I just don't know particulars about it. We need to know that.
Yes, you do, and it is public knowledge that will be coming out, okay? You want to know why we made the decision? Is that what you're
I
asking?
want to know that, number one, and I want to know what's it cost.
What it costs?
Compared to what it was. Okay, that's solid.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And
And that will be
You're not going to do
forthcoming.
it tonight.
Yeah, will be forthcoming. Yes. And you will know, and you will know the cost.
But it will be a more cost than an actual retirement. That's
Yes.
all. Just give me a yes or no. It will.
Yes. Well, no. His retirement was he was going to stay on until December and be paid through that time.
I get that, yeah.
No more additional cost with the separation, but he will receive compensation. Okay?
I appreciate
But
it.
no.
And thank you. My hand is down.
Okay,
Say
thank
no.
you. Yes, Bert.
The June 8th, 2023 letter that you have received, and I know you all received it except for Jeff because I handed it to you.
Yes, you did.
Are you about to work on a resolution to solve that dilemma?
Very good question, and I will answer it in this manner. At this point, due to the fact that it is a legal case, it is in the hands of our lawyer. We've directed our lawyer in terms of negotiations with the company, and that's where we are at this particular point. Yes?
I'll just clarify, it's threatened litigation.
Threatened. We never received anything yet?
Anybody on this board concerned?
No. No, so we have not been served yet.
Are you cognizant that your lawyer refused service?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. If I'm going to sue you, the documents go in and you're served by a sheriff.
Yeah, that happened when I was divorced, yeah.
That's called being served, okay? It is my understanding that the town's attorney, Mr. Tangway, refused service, which means it has to go back through the process.
I'm aware of that.
Normally, the attorneys on both sides agree to accept service.
Okay.
And that takes additional cost and time away. So it is important that the negotiations go on with urgency. And so I wonder if you've fast-tracked this, because you have the ability to go from 40 to 15 tonight, right now.
We're not going to. Jeff?
Yeah, the entire time I was board chair, I would get the sheriff would show up at the house and either hand me the paperwork or hang it on the doorknob. Also, at the same time, the town clerk would be served. And honestly, given it's Sullivan County Sheriff's, I mean, it's 200 feet from their office to our office. I don't see why there's any sort of issue with them making that walk, except maybe today in the rain, and leave a document saying you're served, or putting it on your doorknob.
Yeah, so, I mean, I did expect it would come to me. I had alerted, since I wasn't here, because my daughter was being married, I was proud of that, and so I was out of town. I did instruct the person who was staying with our dog that a sheriff may show up, and she couldn't sign, obviously, but it could be put on my door and I deal with it as soon as I get back. It is a bit disheartening to me that all of this came out in the paper before it came to us. Not the way that I would expect a company to do business. To put it in the paper with the letter and have it published before we even received anything. Not the way I would have done business.
Okay, I still have the floor. Is that correct?
Well, yes.
Thank you.
Are you working for that company?
No, I am not.
Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I'll take an oath on that.
You don't have to, I trust you.
So I'm offended that you would ask that publicly.
Well-
But I also appreciate it, because now you cleared it up.
Because it was out there.
I stand for doing it right,
So do we.
no matter who it is.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're right, Barry, I'm on your side. If you're wrong, I'm against you. It's that simple, and it's been that way right from the beginning.
Well aware of that. Been with you for 7 years now, I understand.
Yep. Okay. Well, I've been doing it since about 1990 something. So I've got a list of things now that I want to make sure that you understand. You need to make a change immediately to go from the 40 to the 15 without saying, no, we're not going to. The January 8th, 2023 letter clearly states your dilemma. And I will put it to the board this way. Give me $25,000 to go from 40 to 15. 25,000. You give me the 25,000 and you'll get back 420,000. Is there any one of you that wouldn't make the deal right now? You don't have to answer. Everybody out there knows who would make the deal. So, handing it to the attorney, and in the situation where you are, based on this letter and the case, it's so simple. I don't understand why, because of the threat of a lawsuit, you get panicky and etc. You can defuse this bomb by simply squeezing the fire on the end of the wick. It's that simple. So, I came here tonight thinking that I would praise the decision that you made. But if you make that decision and you do not understand the underlying problem that made the whole thing happen and aren't willing to solve it, because right now tonight you could solve it. All it takes is a motion to accept $15,000, done deal. The attorneys go away, end of story. So, that being said, I will leave this meeting tonight thinking that, wow, you did one right and the other wrong. Unless this attorney fires us a piece of paper tomorrow morning saying, you guys have agreed to that. And you've not brought that up. And here it is, public session, and this is your opportunity to do so. So I'm asking you to explain to me, other than the threats of the attorney, because I don't buy it. That to me is just a smokescreen, an excuse for you to not do what you could do to defuse this bomb.
How is the attorney threatening? Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, when you say you're going to hand it off to a lawyer because...
We're asking the advice of a lawyer. We've asked the lawyer to call the company and enter into a process of negotiations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay? That's what we have done. Haven't heard anything back yet. I'll tell you, I'm a little dismayed at...
Barry, I didn't hear that from you in your statement.
Okay.
Those words weren't there, and they are, and that makes a significant difference.
Yeah.
He said,
You recognized what he did not say.
Regardless, it's out there now. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, entering into negotiations, that is fine. That tells that you're cognizant of the problem and that the possibility of solution is near. outside of that, it is just continuing the problem.
Right.
And the longer it,
As long as both sides are willing to negotiate, we're right there. We want to get this done. We also we will be using, if we get that funding, we'll be using part of that funding to pay down on the water and sewer aspect, okay? To help you guys out. And to also, you made the statement that we weren't supporting workforce housing. We have, and we will continue to work.
who made that statement?
I think it came from the Scott letter, in the letter.
Well, at $96,000, you aren't. It's clear. That is the rub. But that all being said, at this point, as long as the negotiations item is open, that's fine. The next point that I would go to is the CC. This letter of June 8th was CC'd to Sean Tangway,
Yeah.
Esquire. Was it forwarded to you?
We had to forward it to him. He never received that letter. Nobody ever, it was not sent to him. He received it when we received the letter from you. And Paul went upstairs, and when we talked to our attorney, he hadn't received anything. So,
And that was on, this was within the last 5 days.
yeah. So he had not received anything, so Paul went upstairs and sent it to him.
Okay, so we're looking at a letter of June 8th. And the time between there and the time that you got the letter from me.
Correct.
Okay. That,
We had not known anything about that. None of us had received that.
and your attorney is telling you that he did not receive it, evidently.
Correct. Yeah.
That is an interesting dilemma in and of itself.
We thought so.
Then I guess with that in mind, I will say now, and I'm not speaking to you directly, I'm speaking to the public. Thank you. If in fact you could not have come to this juncture, I was prepared to expose it all. And it's a lot of shit. And so,
I have no idea what you're talking about. Thank you.
Suppose what?
Don't get. No, don't get.
a lot of issues, okay?
Yeah.
Now, you expect me to divulge now.
No, I don't.
But you won't divulge. No, I'm talking to Keith directly now. So Keith, your expectations of what you can do with a citizen is wrong. What we can do with you is a very reasonable expectation. The citizens of this community have the power. You have the responsibility. That's a significant difference. You are to act on our behalf, not act against us.
Correct.
And so therefore, what you don't do becomes fodder. And I have no problems bringing it forward, period.
But
So-
we're trying to move on this, Bert. We're, to the best of the ability that we have.
That's why I complimented you,
Yeah.
okay? And the compliment was interrupted by somebody who wants to change what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what I said, and I have a right to say it.
Yeah.
Without your journalistic
Change
look
a
at it.
thing.
Okay. So that all being said, thank you. It is significant, the decision that you made, and the handling of it, and what you did. You should be very proud. And thank you. I just need to make sure that we continue on the right path with the issues that are presented around us now.
Yep.
And if that's done, then we've done a great thing.
Yep.
So, and I think that will happen.
Thank you. Teresa, you had your hand up.
I did, thank you. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but I know that there are other employees that feel the same way I do. I would just like to say that it has been a great pleasure of mine to work with Hunter for the last 5 years.
Good.
I think he has done a lot of great things for this community, and I'm looking forward with my employees, with my fellow employees, to continue on so that we can make Newport a place that everybody wants to be.
And we will work hard as a board to make sure our employees get all they need and know what's going on. Okay? You had your hand up, sir.
Yeah, for the record, Jack Franks, Avenue Development Group, here with my colleague tonight from Fieldstone and Houston Consulting. For the record, I would just like to state that it wasn't, will always be our intent to work with the town of Newport, to work with the board of selectmen here. We share common goals. Doug and I are locals. Doug lives in Croydon, I live in Walpole. It's not like we're from out of state somewhere, trying to cause anybody any kerfuffle here.
Where's Walpole? No, just one.
So, we're here. We're not, big city slickers from outside of town. We're here. We're local guys that want to work with the board of selectmen, work with the town, and bring forth well thought out, viable development projects where the community benefits from these. So our goals are still the same, and that is to work with you, to find common ground, to come to a resolution, to provide housing for people that need it, to provide a tax base, and to hopefully sit with you all to come together collectively to see what else that can be done that we can assist with. I've said it before, most expensive seat in a restaurant's the empty one. We don't want to overbuild, we don't want to underbuild, we'd like to build what the town needs. So we really want to just be clear that we're here to help, and we want to work with you. We don't have all the answers, but we have open minds and open hearts, and whatever we can do to assist, we're prepared to do that. And I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and look forward to hopefully hearing from town council that with our council, hopefully we can resolve this expeditiously and move forward.
And I will tell you, Paul will be checking in with that tomorrow to try to find out where we are.
Okay.
I've been out of town, and so I don't know what really has transpired, but I do know what our intent was, and that was to talk directly with you or your lawyer, which hasn't really, I'm going to be right up front, it hasn't really happened very effectively from our side in talking with you. So we will do that,
Great.
but it'll be through our lawyer, because anytime,
Sure.
we don't panic. It's just a pro forma that if it's going to end up in court, I'm not going to open my mouth. Which I often say things that are stupid, but I try not to do it when it comes to legal aspects, okay? So that's why we're with our lawyer at this point.
Great. Well, we look forward to hearing
Okay,
from you and
good.
finding a resolution.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Wayne?
Yes, Wayne Woodman, 59 Pine Street. President, the cemeteries beside me, they were halfway mowed before Veterans Day, and that's the last time they were touched. Remember I turned around and brought up one about the pine tree branches?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
They come up and they pick those up about 4 weeks later, and they put them to a chipper out there, big mess right out front. Nobody's ever cleaned that up.
Still there?
Still there. And I know it's been raining, okay, and the mowing and stuff. I have my grandson, I take him around every Friday, Thursday or Friday when it's, he has quite a few mowing jobs right here in Newport. And I tow his trailer around and he does the mowing, so I know it's been drying up the most stuff, I don't know how many people you got working now,
Not enough. Not enough. In fact, I'm putting the call out right now.
Is he 18?
We need, if he knows how to mow, we'll pay him.
He has a mower too.
Yeah. It should be done. Particularly cemeteries, I'm very cognizant of the fact we need to keep them looking, we don't want to look like it's...
The one to the side of me there's a lot of people come in to check the old stones.
Yeah.
They're always in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good.
I get upset sometimes when they park in my yard to walk over there because they don't want to park on a pile of shavings that's out front.
Okay.
So,
we will check right into that. Okay? Paul, can you help with that? Thank you. I don't want to put too much on Paul. To that end, I do want to say the board fully intends to step up to assist Paul. Obviously, we're not going to be the person in charge. That is our, that's Paul's duty. But for instance, I've asked Jeff to continue working and make sure we get the striping working through Paul, but he'll do a lot of the work with it. I'll be talking more with the school and Paul about solving that problem, and we'll talk about other people and what they need to be doing.
And I know, I've spoke to our police chief, and he sends a cruiser through as much as possible, through Pine Street. But there's so many people that walk that street, and
Yeah.
people are really traveling.
I know, I went up there the other day. I went the speed limit, but just to check on what was going on.
I watch a lot of them that don't do the
Yeah,
speed.
I know.
I pull out there. I got passed the other day, on my own street. So
With your hot rod?
no, I had my pickup.
Okay, all right.
Jim, is that sign that's up,
Those are movable.
so that's moved, because I saw how nice straight the post was. I was like, does that thing move, or is that, permanent? So that's the sign that could be up on Pine Street.
They're designed to be mobile.
So that is the intent of that we can move that around town. Just like, here's a reminder, guys, these zones are to be
I had the sheriff
observed.
department put their speed thing up there a year ago,
Yeah.
and nobody's there writing tickets, so
Yeah.
it's useless, So,
Okay.
Jim Brown said that this thing here has a meter in it that tells the best times that
Yeah.
people are speeding, so they can come up there and hang out. Good.
Jenna, are we done?
Yeah, done.
Jenna?
I just had a quick question. I believe the town and the school were really close to signing the MOU for the SRO.
Yes.
And I didn't know if the interim town manager would be able to continue to move forward with
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Not
Need to get that done. We will get that done. Need to solve some other issues with so we got to get that CTE building built with that process. So I'll be, I need to get better up to speed with that. And Paul, he's got a lot on his plate. We're trying to help him as much as we can. So, yeah. Okay. Mr. Carr.
Just one quick one. I
Yes.
totally agree with that. It's way overdue. You all know that.
Yep.
I put that on top of your list.
It is. It's on top of mine.
One other question you got on the speed thing with these signs. At the thing we voted to buy these things, right? These speed things. And I don't see any of them installed yet. You know any status of that, or is there any issues on that?
Is the most visible ones on Sunapee Street currently, right across from the cemetery? I'm sorry,
I'm thinking John Stark Highway down at the bend, coming down the hill there.
Down the hill?
They might do something there, because he's right, it's terrible.
if you have a location like that, they need to be brought up to the chief, and I'm sure I'm sure he has a list of roads that he is planning to put them out on.
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to speak for him, but
No, I get that. Well, why not? Why not? You are the chief.
been there, done that.
You'll always be the chief.
Yes, he will.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks for putting your hand up twice. That's good, Ed. Thank you. Anybody else for open forum? Yes,
I
ma'am.
might as well bring this up.
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
add to Paul's list. We're talking about the area of Pine and Elm,
That's correct.
the intersection when you're coming off of Pine that meets Elm.
Yeah.
The visibility there is horrible.
Yes.
The trees need to be trimmed.
Yeah, private property.
No, that's,
On Elm, they come by
Town
once in a
property.
while and
this has been an ongoing, if I may,
Yes, you may.
this has been an ongoing thing it's not new.
right.
Those branches overhang into the town right of way,
Oh.
and they do obstruct traffic. So if you are at the Pine Street intersection, and you look down the hill towards the center of town, you can't see the flat. So if there is a car speeding and you pull out, you may not be in an accident, but you're certainly about to cause one.
Right.
So,
And looking up as well.
and looking up, there's always been that stone wall corner, and it is challenging. You kind of have to poke out a little bit. So it is not the best intersection in town, I'll tell you that.
I wasn't sure whose responsibility it was to keep that trimmed, if it could just stay trimmed back.
I will say that before that property changed hands, the town had an agreement with the prior property owner to remove part of that wall looking up the hill that would have improved the visibility. This goes back to when I was chief, so we had discussed that.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that they allowed us, were going to allow us to move that bank back, but it was going to be at our expense and our project. So it's just one of those projects that was on the books, but never kind of came through.
And you see what's out there now, 2 big pots and a flag.
Yeah.
It's really bad now.
I don't think the stone wall's a problem. It's people coming down the hill that are turning onto Pine Street, cut that corner, and if you stick your front end out there.
It's the visibility that you
Yeah,
have to
but,
kind of
right, if you're gonna stay on your own side of the yellow line.
still on the same flood watch.
That's another.
But I do agree with the trees and bushes.
And that's coming both directions.
I'd say the tree coming out,
Yes, you can. Go
the
ahead.
street by Sugar River
Thank you.
Bank. That's sort of the half-dead tree. It's the, when you come out of the Sugar River, onto Main Street. Is that the street right there? There's this. Yeah, yes. There's like a half-dead maple tree, sort of. If you come out, that tree is just like visibility there is so bad. If a car ever parks there on either side, it's just that tree is barely even alive. I don't know if there's ever, it's all those things are.
This is tough,
These are tough
especially in the
things.
town right now where we have limited personnel
Absolutely.
on the buildings and grounds crews, the highway department. All those departments are lightly staffed at the moment, and we're working on fixing that. But these are all issues that we're aware of, and we just got to get to them.
And we've got some things in the work. I know, I got you, Ed. Okay. Thank you. We're working hard to solve these personnel problems, okay? Because we really need to get people in place. And Paul and Hunter have both been working diligently to try to fill some of the gaps. Right now, a lot of it is interim basis. So we got more interims than just Paul. So that's what we want. Ed Carr, and then you.
One last one, and I keep saying that, you keep bringing these, you had a good opportunity back during some of the hearings, and against these gentlemen's proposal down there for the place, for the workforce housing. And one of the biggest topics I had was the issue on traffic, and that was one of them. We did studies on entering John Stark Highway.
Yes.
And my big comment was, when the state sent a thing out and said, engineers signed a thing and said, no impact. Well, no impact to them, but it's a tremendous impact on us. If you were up there today, I don't know where you knew the detour went, but guess where? Right by that stone wall she's talking about. 1,000 cars up there every day. I mean, I didn't want to put more cost on you guys, because I know you're paying a big price to hook up to our water and sewer and all that stuff. You'll fight that, but I'm teasing. But seriously, we had an opportunity, and the committees that you have there that represent us, that you appointed, just kind of walk away from it. They don't take into account those sorts of things that impact us. And to some degree, I think there was some responsibility for anybody developing to say, look, we created an impact. That's all I'm saying. It's by the water now, and it's gone. But we can do that. You say it's put onto the town, and we don't have the people to do it. Some of that could have been absorbed as a condition of these agreements. I think you need to take a closer look at the committees that you appoint, that make sure it's just not a piece of paper to say get on the committee. Say, study what they're doing, because there's a great example of what that could have been, some of it corrected, not all of it. I don't expect them to cure the town of Newport, but they've not, I pick on these guys if they hear, but there are others, you know that. But seriously, that's all I got to say, and I'm done, because my phone keeps ringing.
You've been quite erudite tonight, sir. Thank you.
Am I right? I mean, the committee, look into the committees that you
Gotcha.
appoint, because we didn't appoint, we didn't elect them, you appointed.
We appoint.
That's right.
Yeah. Bert, you had a question?
Yes, and I'll make it simple. Have you looked at What's Up Newport today?
Looked at what?
Have you looked at What's Up Newport today?
Is that on Facebook? I don't call it Facebook.
When you talk about personnel, those are the things that are not helpful. So,
I don't know what you mean. Can you help
read
me?
it, you'll understand.
Okay. Now, I can't guarantee it, because I try to stay off that as much as possible, so.
I don't at all,
Yeah, I know you don't.
but it was brought to my attention
Okay.
today.
Okay. Good.
somebody here probably can send it to somebody there.
Okay. Good. What's up, Newport?
Jeff, you're on.
Truly
That was
Newport.
on Truly Newport.
Oh,
Go on, Truly
It might be
Newport.
on WhatsApp as well.
okay. Thank you.
How
Thanks
many
so
are
much for
there?
all your information.
Too many.
And is it,
They're awful.
I mean, it's Facebook, you kinda gotta take Facebook with a grain of salt.
Not always. It's where they go when they don't get results, where they should get results.
Yeah.
They have to express themselves somewhere. Yeah. I just choose not to,
And I understand
yeah,
that.
yeah. I take blood pressure medications. I try to do things that don't stop that. Okay. Did you have a further comment? Or you all set?
No, I was going to agree with your comment, though.
Okay.
It's, I don't want to insult those who are on
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, that's their prerogative.
But the content of it depends. But this particular content, you should look at.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anything else under open forum? Yes. Thank you. Communication, Board of Selectmen. Jeff,
I don't think so.
you're all set?
I'm all.
Keith.
Yeah, I gotta,
Yeah, go ahead.
are you done?
No, I guess I'd just like to say that with what's transpired today, that this board does have a lot of work ahead of them. You know, for a board that, as long as this community understands, you know, we're really essentially a volunteer group here. You know, we have a small, very small, $100, you know, a month to do this, which is a token of appreciation, if anything. And that many of us, most of us, work and have full-time jobs, and we're here because we love the community, and for no other reason, ultimately, and that we will do our best through this interim part, and in particular, to help out Paul, who has taken on a lot, and it's a lot of ways unfair for him to have to do that, but I think that we're all fairly ambitious people on this board, and we will do our best with his guidance to also give him support in the place that he needs support, in the things that we are particularly possibly good at, because we're all probably good at different things, and we will know what those strengths are that we have, and we'll support each other, and we hope you have the support of this community as we go through this time period, which will, you know, was pretty busy in a lot of stuff, and doesn't put any of us in an easy place. To be patient with us and understanding that we are going to feel through this, and that's really just that's for now. And I would just say to you, Paul, that you know, let's talk as we work through these things, and don't take so much on that you know you stay too many hours. Thank you,
Keith?
Yeah, just briefly, I was in the NCTV meeting the other day. They have a management agreement between the town and the television station.
Yes, we do.
That actually expired June 30th this year. And I think they want to,
What's that?
they would like to start a new one and get that moving. And maybe we could get that on next meeting's agenda.
I thought we had everything straightened out with that.
It was never approved, that was last year, it was never approved.
Wow. Thank you.
Good, Keith.
I wasn't chair at that time.
The local television is a good thing for the community.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Sure, agree with you.
A lot of people watch it.
Sure do.
Jeff?
Two things. I had someone comment to me, I guess, Saturday up at the transfer station. Questions about a gravel pit on the side of the Route 10 in North Newport, opposite the airport. And the question was, is this a permitted gravel pit or not?
No. So my understanding, it is not.
Okay.
Christina has asked to be able to follow up with that.
Okay.
Through the Conservation Committee.
Okay. It was Larry Strischel who was asking me.
And so thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
It really does, as I told them, I don't think it enters into the purview of the Conservation Committee, but maybe it does. But nonetheless, we are aware of it. We're trying to find out what really is going on there.
Okay.
Because there's no permit to move gravel.
And I'm not sure of the requirements in New Hampshire, but I know in at least one other state, if you have a gravel pit on your personal property, you don't need a permit, so.
That's what we're looking into. What are the needs,
Yeah.
and what is actually going on there? You know, and so Christina's going to look into that.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing I had at our last meeting on June 19th, there was a lot of concern about building permits for the tech center renovations. And it basically implied that we were holding up or not issuing the permits for the new natural science building north of the high school. And I just want to comment that town manager at the time looked into that, sent the selectmen an email on the 21st of June that basically asked about that, and the building inspector reported that Alan reported that he had not received nor seen a building permit application for the new CTE building being proposed. And later in the email, Hunter says he called Alan back to confirm it, and Alan then reported that he had just received a phone call from Harvey Construction indicating that they were on their way to his office to deliver an application for a building permit for the school's CTE building.
Never came.
Okay, but the point I'm making is at the time we were hearing that we were holding up a building permit, it had never, the application had never been provided to us, so.
Nothing forced to hold up.
Right, and if there was a lack of information or knowledge as to what was going on, it was not here at the town, it was somewhere else. So.
And what we need to do is work to get this resolved. There are issues that aren't town issues.
Right.
There are issues that the school needs to deal with, and they're dealing with them. We need to settle this land issue. We also need to know the value of the land that was there used to be for the skating rink.
Right. And
so we can make an adjustment.
Right. And in the email, Alan also states he went on to report that upon receipt of the appropriate code compliant materials that he anticipated no problem issuing the permit. So, you know, there was a lack of communication somewhere else, and the perception was it was at the town, and it wasn't.
Yeah, that comes out a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I did get you, Bert. I'll get you in a minute.
We met with the school last Wednesday, I believe, and started working through those value issues, and the state was here, and they explained what they needed. They took a tour of the two sites, so that process has begun.
Thank you. Good. Thank you. John, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
Okay.
Mr. Brown said
The
all I
last
was
thing
going to
is
say.
the permit has been, the permit request has been
Received and
It's under review.
under review at this point. Okay? Bert, you had a question earlier?
Yep, I'll let it go.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Can I go?
And Jeff? Jim, I mean?
No, I'm done.
Jeff's done.
I'm done.
Okay. Jim?
They weren't going to skip me.
I wouldn't skip you. Especially a guy carrying a gun. I'm not going to skip you.
You can take me out of the office, but I'm still going to. Just a couple of things about the status of things in town regarding the weather and the roads and things of that sort.
Thank you.
Best of my knowledge, right now, we've got a few roads that are impassable. There's John Stark Highway, the downtown region that typically floods. Section of Blaisdell Road is impassable. Old Goshen Road, Sand Hill Road, again, Aspen Road, and Reeds Mills Road. This is important to note that while these roads are compromised, we have others that are also compromised, and the rivers are not expected to really crest until about midnight tonight. So we got more to come, more time of this is going to be affecting the downtown. So to that end, with those roads that are all, under some level of issues, the fire department, the police department, the highway department, state highway department are all out. I met with them literally minutes before this meeting to get an update as far as what we have for residents that were trapped and couldn't get out, that didn't have a second point of egress. And as of right now, doesn't look like anybody is trapped. Everybody has at least another way out, so that's good news. So hats off to all of our our
Employees.
emergency service workers that are
Right.
out there putting the hours in to make sure that, our infrastructure's not getting, we can only watch it at this point. And then I just want to thank Josh Stevens and Stevens Construction. They were out this weekend, anticipation of the weather event that we're currently still in. They repaired a good section of Aspen Road over the course of the weekend to minimize, the effects of that road and keep that going. So, if we're not for his actions this weekend, Aspen Road would be even worse than it is today. So, thanks Josh and Stevens Construction for taking their time and equipment to do those repairs.
Larry, if I can add to that.
Yes, go ahead.
The damage we're getting to the roads, in addition to the damage we've had before, I believe Paul's keeping track of that.
Yes.
And the intent is to, either townwide or countywide, apply to FEMA for a grant to recover from this. Otherwise, the town's looking at several $100,000 worth of unanticipated expenses, correct?
That's by county, correct, Paul?
It's,
Those,
the governor has to declare
Declare an emergency.
state emergency.
Yeah.
Then the president has to award the FEMA emergency. That is then awarded by county and then by town. So if you could have a town that could have $100,000 worth of damage, but if it's $250,000 threshold in the county, then that town's out of luck. So we believe, from what we understand, a few of these storms, countywide, we will be all right. We should be included if the governor does declare. I know Sunapee just lost Bradford Road today, so if anybody knows that's not passable, that's going to trip the county pretty well also on that one.
Especially those big trucks that use that shortcut.
Well, that's not today.
last storm,
What went out?
Yeah.
significant.
Culvert or?
I don't know if there was a culvert there or not. Actually, the bridge was in place. It's the marsh. Further up, and climbing the hill. I don't know, it might have been a culvert. The other thing is I would just want people to see sides of the roads.
Soft shoulders.
You don't see it, but some of it has no soft shoulder anymore.
No shoulder.
Exactly, no shoulder. And that's something to be watched. We're trying to get cones on those areas, but it's
Running out of
every drop is.
And pothole expansion too.
Herb, you had your hand up?
Yeah, Jim, Shannon's Milford was on your list. Just before the dirt, I called it in. It was coming across the top. And if you're right that the crest is later, as it comes off the top, it goes under and undermines it, is what it did last year.
Done by the rich property, that
Yes,
culvert.
just before the end of the pavement. So, that being said, they came and put a cone on each side of it, and it had dropped down some. But if it goes up anymore, that culvert, as I said before, is not sufficient to handle what's coming down. And so, the cones are okay, but I guess I would say to anybody traveling Chandler's Mill Road, if you're headed for the dirt and there isn't a cone there, stop.
Yeah.
That section was always on my top 3 to check. Always look at the golf course down here and then there. Coonbrook Road is another one.
Keith, you had a
Just
hand
a
up?
question, when I came over to the meeting, I noticed there was a tractor trailer sitting on Main Street. And I don't know if he was like trying to figure out where he can go. Because I have come home from work in the middle of the night and there's a tractor trailer sitting on Elm Street because he can't make the turn to go up Pine Street. And is there like maybe an established truck route that we can put in place in situations like that?
There is, it's underwater.
Well, I think if
Ideally,
the truck came
so-
down and turned left by the Hilltop Motel and came straight across, he'd be fine.
We don't want
The
that.
problem is that then you're having to make several very difficult turns for tractor trailer trucks.
Yeah.
So and I can't speak for today, but we used to, we would literally stack up the tractor trailer trucks and not let them do that detour because of the two-way traffic. Another TT comes the other way, and now no one's getting through anywhere. So we often would stack them up and then do a controlled release of them. So that was one way to kind of get through that because there is no good alternative route to avoid when our downtown floods.
Right.
You only get a few minutes of time to keep using Elm Street, and then that inevitably closes second. So when I was meeting with the fire chief and PD down at Irving just before the meeting, they were putting up message boards to alert the public about the detour and what that detour path is. The PD does have a sign package that does go out and directs people where to go, because not everybody has GPSs in the car to be able to figure out what the alternative route is. And the reality is, there's certainly not staff enough to man each one of those turns as we would like to do to answer the questions about, how to get around it. Because that's number one. Where do I go? I'm stuck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Couldn't some of that be GPS issues? I mean, that's not all the truckers' fault.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which is why, we had to do what we've done on Bradford Road, because that is not a truck route, but yet GPS says that's the way you need to go.
That's a shortcut. That's-
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I have.
And all I want to do is just reiterate the fact that we are looking for people to serve on the committee to get a new town manager. It's going to be fast-tracked. We hope we get very viable candidates. And while I say it's fast-tracked, still going to try to get, not try, we will get the best person, not just any person. Okay? With that process. And I also want to thank Hunter for what he has done in this town, and wish him well. I think he's already planning a trip to Germany, so I want to thank him for that. I also want to thank Paul, very willing, I say willing, grudgingly or whatever. He's moved in, and I will say to the people who have expressed concern, whether it's on Facebook or whatever, this town's not going to fall apart. This town's going to get better. And, I think the tone of this meeting here tonight exemplifies where we want to go. We can ask questions, we can talk and discuss, but we're one town trying to work together. Okay. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yeah, town manager's on here.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, it doesn't.
I haven't gone through a meeting yet where I haven't made a mistake. Go ahead.
Two things. One, probably less happy than the other. At your meeting next Monday night, we will be discussing sewer fees. During the
Correct.
vote on the bond, we talked about a 30% increase coming forward, and we would like to institute that with the next, right after the next reading, which will be in the next week or so. They're actually holding off reading until they start. So any drop of water that flows would be at the new rate, but people can conserve as they might. So that's one. And then the other thing is I need a short 91A, non-public 91A 2-3E, I believe. I've been out of the litigation
Thank you. Tonight?
tonight.
Thank you. So at this point then, I would entertain a motion to go into non-public session under 91, what was it, Paul?
91A
E.
2-3, I think it's E, for
E.
litigation.
Litigation.
So moved.
You vice chair?
Let's see, we'll take a roll call vote. Jeff?
We need a second.
Second. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Second. Jeff?
Favor? Yes, aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Jeff?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes.